This house actually was built 200 years ago. I moved in the early 70s. The house was built with huge fireplaces and a whole core here, so we ended up wood heating. The first winter we were here, and I don't think there was even dampers in the chimneys. We had so little sense of heating a house or what it took. I remember there was a big carpet here that every time you opened the door, closed the door, it would go so that this air was just constantly going out. I've lived here for about 50 years, and 40 of them were involved with these wood stoves and fireplaces. You know, by myself, it became more and more a chore. I realized it's not, you don't wood heat by yourself. You know, it's definitely a collective effort and a shared resource. I was starting to like flip on that furnace in the morning to like get a jolt of heat. And I had equated electricity to nuclear power. So we had gone gas and wood heat as this kind of alternative. And I think it was coming back around to seeing that solar produced electricity and electricity was the future here. And I was ready to move into the 21st century with this old house. The idea of going geothermal and solar was attractive. I had inherited some money from my mother that I wanted to invest into the farm. And it seemed like a good, appropriate thing. There were incentives to do it. HeatSmart was kind of the beginning people. 2019, in the spring, in March, I started going to workshops. HeatSmart provided the opportunity to meet three different purveyors. Came out, did surveys, free estimates, really helped me understand it more and more. Finally chose Helco. You know, as soon as I committed to putting in the geothermal and the solar, I was encouraged to tighten up the envelope. And I'd never heard the expression, but it was to make the house tighter. And I think I'd already committed to insulation. I'd done an insulation early on, and it turns out that was amazingly transforming in the house, was to insulate it fully. I think they started digging in the summer of last year. Then by the fall they had put in the solar panels, and by December I think the system was up and running. They did like 5 ditches. It was interesting watching them work. They ended up disrupting some of the drainage tiles that had gone through here, but we ended up restoring that this spring. And it goes that side of the garden and then back into the house there.
So this is it, like?
This is it.
Is it dangerous to walk on?
No, not at all. It's 8 feet down there. They dig the first one, lay that down, and then as they're digging the second one, they're filling in the first one. They came to some junction here, and then this is kind of this little bit of swale that'll keep whatever runoff there is to go around the garden. I don't do that much disturbing the soil. But I ultimately realized, hey, you dig a hole to build a house, you know, there's this disruption in the creation stage, and I was willing to weather that storm, and I'm glad I did. These basement walls are 3 feet thick. So they've decided that they did not want to start drilling through old walls like this. And so they've built a box outside that's super insulated. The liquid from the
It's water.
loop.
It's basically water with a little bit of antifreeze in it.
Okay, so the liquid comes in here from the field, the loop field, and comes in across the top here. It picks up that, 40, 50, 55 degree temperature from the earth and brings it into the house, whereupon, much like a refrigerator takes room temperature and drops it down to 30 or 40 degrees in your refrigerator, the geothermal unit downstairs takes that 50 degree temperature and it raises it up. I run mine at 66 degrees. So all I have to do is take that temperature, the energy to take that temperature at 50 up to 66. The geothermal also offered an opportunity to run an air conditioning, which again made my relatives that came and visited from Maryland very happy. We'd had old ductwork because of the forced air furnace in the basement, but when we had renovated the downstairs we had taken that ductwork out. So part of that was replacing ductwork. And it wasn't real invasive. Some of the, like now the toilet was where it was, the ductwork was before, so we had to like kind of retrofit it. But the guys from Helco were able to like really, put in good airflow systems and heat the upstairs. And because of the openness of the house, I didn't have to put in the cold air returns. This one goes through the bathroom to the second floor. So this, and a much bigger one, because they went, the room is so big up there that you need more air going up there. Yeah, I don't know if it was the original one or not still, but there was a really old one here that was like, ka-choinka. I've kept the wood stoves. I mean, there in Jamesville, the power goes out a fair amount. The grid goes down. When the grid goes down, the solar goes down. I could add a battery backup system for the solar, and that's a potential growth component of the system here, but being off the grid was not my intention then. So to be able to fall back on a wood stove for heating, and we've got a well so we can carry water, just felt like a security piece going forward. The wood cost was probably $600 a year, $700 a year, plus all of the labor that went along with that. And the geothermals literally just paying for the delivery. So there is a savings there. And it was an investment. It was just kind of an investment into our shared future. There's a dust and dirt that's connected to wood heating. And I found with the geothermal, especially when I've got the fan running all the time, that the air is circulating in the house and it's much cleaner air. I'm breathing better. Some of my respiratory issues have disappeared. It was this feeling of comfort and confidence in having a warm house to come home to, being able to have company come and stay upstairs in the bedrooms. We had a Thanksgiving here that was delightful, and we had a little fire in the wood stove to heat some cider, so that was cute and fun, but not essential, and didn't ever feel the need to revisit that unless I wanted to. So I think there was a confidence with that, to be able to have a studio upstairs, so all of a sudden could work upstairs in the wintertime when I just didn't do that. I would bring stuff downstairs to work on. So I had that kind of year-round capacity up there. It has liberated me to, focus on other parts of my life than just surviving. It's helped me, just appreciate, the energy I do have and the things I really want to be working on, and to have this heat be a given at this point is fabulous. To commit to a future of a geothermal or solar source for your heat is embracing a future for yourself and for your children and for those that have not been born yet. It really, I think it's a step going forward. We need to move off the fossil fuels. I mean, the wood is a renewable resource, but it also is a high pollutant resource. So we have the technology now to be able to heat without having combustion like this, and I think I've just been very encouraged. I would encourage others to do it also. I think we're on the cusp of a real energy evolution revolution. It's exciting.